Uh, this session, it is on day 4th and 15th July 2021. It's a parallel technical session, 26. And the chair for the session is Dr. Ajay Chaurasia from CSIR and NCBR Roorkee. And the co-chair, Dr. Pawan GS from NIT Surathkal, Karnataka. And before beginning our session, it is my honor and privilege to introduce and then welcome our chair and co-chair to this session. Now I will just share the brief biodata of our the chairman of this technical session, Dr. Ajay Chaurasia, for the benefit of our. It is my pleasure to introduce the today's chair for this technical session, Dr. Ajay Chaurasia. Presently, he is a senior principal scientist and professor, academic and scientific research, and group leader, 3D concrete printing, CSR, Central Building Research Institute, Roorkee. Dr. Ajay Chaurasia is a senior principal scientist at as of now and head of 3D concrete printing group, CSR, Central Building Research Institute. He did a PhD in structural engineering from Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee. The topic of his research was performance evaluation of confined masonry buildings under cyclic lateral loads. His areas of interest encompasses precast buildings, structural health monitoring, experimental investigation of buildings and their components. Further, earthquake resistant design, construction, confined masonry, repair and retrofitting of structure, seismic vulnerability assessment, post-earthquake damage assessment, numerical analysis, historical construction, etc. He has published more than 100 papers in international, national journals and conference proceedings. And he has more than 85 reports and 11 books on earthquake resistant design and construction and guidelines for confined masonry, structural design and detailing of confined masonry, EW houses, and good construction practices. He has filed 4 Indian patents. So far, he has guided 5 PhDs, 40 MTechs, and 60 BTech students. He developed spinners tool for design of RC slabs and beams of residential buildings and documentary on confined masonry, which are most widely referred document in construction sector. He was pioneer in establishing building dynamics laboratory, construction technology, demonstration park, and advanced pseudodynamics laboratory at CSIR, CBR, having capability to test full-scale buildings up to 4 stories under quasi-static condition. Also, as a nodal officer, at the lead the team of CSIR mission mode project on mass housing that delivered significant output as aligning national mission, housing for all, and lighthouse projects on emerging technologies for housing. He has done many collaborative and sponsored industrial projects for industrial and strategic sector. Notable of them include those funded by IGCR, BAR, NTPC, NDMA, Airport Authority of India, IOCL, BCL, Navodaya Vidyalaya Samiti, Ministry of External Affairs, fertilizer plants, ports, etc. He was instrumental in post-disaster rehabilitation of Kadampuri and Kedarnath. Presently, he is team leader for post-earthquake reconstruction, education, and health infrastructure in Nepal under Government of India funded projects, improving disaster resilience of lifeline building in Himalayan region, makeshift hospitals for COVID-19, SHM of Central Vasta and Kaula Bridge, and many more. He has organized several training programs for practicing engineers on earthquake resistant design, construction, repair, rehabilitation of structures, and national and international conferences in the domain of his research areas. He is member of building committee at several institutes, post-earthquake reconnaissance team, NDMA, and Bureau of Indian Standards. He is a member of ISCT, Indian Concrete Institute, Institution of Engineers, India, and several other professional bodies. He was secretary for Indian Society of Earthquake Technology Journal for the year 2013 to 2017 and visited several countries in connection with R&D program like Taiwan, Portugal, Canada, Myanmar, and Nepal. He is organized a person with a strong technical expertise, leadership, partnership development, problem-solving ability, result-oriented approach. Moreover, R&D in structural engineering is the passion focusing on technological solutions to nation and society at large. On personal side, Dr. Chaurasia is a very humble, polite, down-to-earth gentleman and a social activist too. So with this brief biography, uh, I invite Dr. Chaurasia to chair the session. Yeah. Sir, on behalf of the organizing committee and on my personal behalf, I wholeheartedly welcome to this technical session as the chair. Sir, thank you once again for accepting our invitation.
Thank you, Dr. Govindaraju, for a very wide introductions. Thank you so much. Good morning, all friends.
Sorry for interruption. One more, our co-chair is there. I had to introduce to him also. So today we have for this parallel technical session, the co-chair, the young scientist, Dr. Pawan GS. Dr. Pawan GS is assistant professor at the Department of Civil Engineering, NITK Surathkal. He obtained BTech degree from NITK Surathkal, MSc Engineering and PhD degrees from University of Science, Bangalore. After his PhD, he worked as assistant professor at Shivnadar University, NCR for 1 year. He is member of International Masonry Society UK, Indian Concrete Institute, and E Society of Applied Mechanics. His research area includes mechanics of laminated plates, micromechanics of composites, mechanics of masonry, and modern earth construction. He has published several papers in peer-reviewed international journals and conferences proceedings now. So with this brief biodata, I, on behalf of organizing committee and on my personal behalf, I welcome Dr. Pawan GS to chair the session.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Govindaraju, for the kind introduction.
Fine. Now, over to you, sir, chair and co-chair.
Thank you, Professor Govindaraju, for a brief introduction of chair and co-chair. Thank you so much. And thank you for organizing a very brightful event. Good morning, all the participants, guests, nationally, internationally, for this wonderful technical session. And today I am privileged to have a very eminent speakers with us, Dr. K.G. Bhatia and Dr. Professor G.R. Dalugowkar. So we have total 90 minutes for this particular session, as we have to manage the time limits up to 10:30 a.m. in India as per IST. So it is I am proposing that we will have a presentation for 35 minutes each from both the eminent speakers as a SOAP, state of art and practice lecture, and followed by that we will have a question answer sessions, and we should utilize their rich experience in the domain, limited to not only to the whatever they are presenting, but in a wide domain in the area of their research. So with this brief outline of this particular session, I'm privileged to have with us Dr. K.G. Bhatia, and it is my, again, pride privilege to introduce Dr. K.G. Bhatia, who is one of the eminent speakers in this particular session. So Dr. K.G. Bhatia, after obtaining bachelor's degree in civil engineering from IIT BHU, completed master's in structural dynamics with specialization in earthquake engineering from IIT Roorkee, and thereafter joined International Institute of Seismology and Earthquake Engineering, Tokyo, Japan, under UNESCO for advanced research. The research work was further extended for award of PhD from Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. He switched over to industry in 1971, and after serving Engineers India Limited, EIL, a pioneering consultancy organization in India, he moved to power giant Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, BHEL, where he was head of structural dynamics for many years, many decades, I should say. He has about 3 decades of rich experience in design, testing, and failure analysis of machine foundation, seismic qualification of power plant equipments, as well as stress and vibration analysis of structures and equipments. He has been engaged in design and testing of and review of various foundations for various industrial projects like petrochemicals, refineries, power plants for over 3 decades. He has been associated with failure analysis studies on various types of machines for over 2 decades and has conducted extensive tests on machine foundation as well as on prototypes model. He has authored a book on Foundations for Industrial Machines, a handbook for practicing engineers, which is widely referred document. And he has a great contribution in development of our Indian standard codes, particularly in the area of earthquake engineering, CAD 39. So with this brief biodata, I request Professor Bhatia to please deliver his keynote speak on the subject, that is on CAD technologies on capacity upgradation of industrial machines on existing foundation, a state of the art. So over to Professor Bhatia, please.
Thank you, Dr. Ajay Chaurasia. Thank you, my co-chair, Dr. Pawan. Thanks for the introduction. I am here with all of my friends here today. I'm just sharing my screen to you now. Are you able to see? You see, friends, I have about 40-50 years experience in the machine foundation area. And I have, through this forum, in this international conference, I thought, let me share my experience with all of you on the machine foundation design and testing. Now, today, I'm seeing in the industry, that there is a huge demand in the world over, globe over, to upgrade industrial capacities. And now the issues are fundamentally that when the people want to upgrade, right, they have to either think about changing the foundation or go to new sites and do new details. That means here, upgradation of industrial machines will have only either replacing existing machines with more efficient machine of same rating or with machines of higher rating. In both the cases, there are two options available. Either to go for new foundation or new infrastructure, or you go for existing foundation and existing infrastructure. How to remove this part? Let me just see. Yes, I can come here now. That mode, I'm not sure how this, because, okay, let's see. Okay. Can somebody guide me how to remove this, come on the top, because I'm unable to see my part. Okay, anyway, let me try. So what happens now? In this existing foundation, existing infrastructure, it's very cost effective because it takes less time, and you can start early production right in the very short time. Whereas coming to new foundation, new infrastructure, it's an entirely new project. You take additional area, plant area, you need new construction, new infrastructure, and delayed production. Now, this was the task given to me quite some time back, maybe somewhere in 2008 or 2009. I did a lot of consultation for Saudi Arabia because there the task given to me was only 15 days time to do the new machines. I'm just sharing with you now, the machines, there are three kinds of foundations we have in the industry. Machines on frame foundations, we have machines on block foundations, and machines with VIS. In any industry, if you take, any typical industry you take, if there is a one machine on frame foundation, there will be 10 machines on block foundation. And there will be one or two machines coming with the isolation system. And block foundations are very, very sensitive to geotechnical parameters. And that's the reason why I have just chosen this topic to be a topic of the presentation here. We normally have rotary machines, existing foundation, existing infrastructure. These are three. So I'm just trying to cover this part only in the presentation, that I'm covering frame foundation for rotary machine, block foundation for rotary machine, and foundation with VIS, only with the view that we are trying to use the existing foundation with existing infrastructure, which is a very, very difficult task and has to be backed up by physical testing. its presumption at this stage is that machine data of the existing machine is available. Both dynamic and static parameters are available. Vibration records of the machines for past few years are available. Whether they are machines running good or bad, whether performing very well or not, all data is available. And the new machine which you want to install, the operational data is also available. Second part is existing foundation. Normally, whenever we come across such situation that we have to upgrade the machinery, generally foundation should be about 15 to 20 years old. So now we must keep in mind that these are 15 to 20 years old foundation. They are structurally sound. The influence of fatigue is there on structural stability, and strength and elastic parameters are available. Assumption this part because there is no purpose of reinventing the wheel at this stage. And then soil parameters, which is very, very crucial. Soil parameters at the time when the foundation was cast, maybe 20 years back, 15 years back, that data and what is the current data. I'm sure the audience here, they are very, very well knowledgeable about it, that the soil data which was there 20 years back and of the current soil data which is there now, there may be a lot of variations. And these variations are influencing the dynamics of the machines and foundations. So before we start anything, I'm just trying to touch a very brief on dynamics of machine foundations. See, dynamics of machine foundation, that means there are three aspects now: machine, foundation, and the soil. So we need to have a good knowledge of machine dynamic parameters, that is machine dynamic loads, machine operational parameters, machine speed, machine induced dynamic forces, foundation dynamic parameters, which are material properties, dynamic elastic modulus, strength parameters, soil or pile dynamic parameters of this. It is very obvious, and we know very well, I don't want to go into the detail, that when a machine is supported on the foundation, and foundation in turn rests in the soil, the three systems put together, they develop a natural frequency. That depends upon the elastic stiffness of the foundation and the soil, and the mass of the machine and the foundation. And when a dynamic force is active on this entire system, you produce a response. And it is very imperative for all of us to know that whenever we say machine is running very fine, that means response is well within permissible limits. If it's not running fine, then response is beyond permissible limits. And I'm sure all of you are aware with single freedom system, which I don't want to go into detail, that we have a response peaks up at this, at the frequency ratio is equal to 1. That means when the natural frequency of system is nearly same as the operating frequency of system, the response peaks up. So we normally avoid about 20% response, 20% frequency margins to keep the response within the limit. And if we want to know the area where we want to use isolation system, we have to go only beyond a frequency ratio of 2, 3, or 4. So whenever situation comes, we'll discuss that part. Now we have a kind of a block foundation on machines on block foundation. So we have a machine, we have a block, it is resting on an elastic spring, a soil, or whatever, pile, whatever it is, and which can be mathematically represented by a system over here. In this case, block is rigid body, machine is rigid body, and elastic body is only the springs part of it. When we come to the frame foundation, we have a 3D structural frame which is supporting the machine, and this whole base raft is supporting the foundation on the soil. And this is about now normally the height of the such foundations are 6 to 8 meters from the ground level. Then coming to the isolation system, wherever it's not possible to manage the machine supporting on the soil because soil parameters, we use machine on the inertia block, we use isolators, and then we have base block which rests in the soil. And we dynamically tune such a system that our response parameters are well within our available limit. And it's very also common in the industrial sector that you put machines on the higher platforms, second floor, first floor, third floor of the structure. There also the structural dynamic parameter as well as the machine parameters are such that the vibration levels can go high. So in order to restrain the vibration or transmission from the structure to adjoining structures or to the machine on the same floor, we need isolation devices as shown here. This is the second figure. So when we come to block foundation, in block foundation, we have various parameters like eccentricity, natural frequency, frequency margins, dynamic forces, therefore acting in phase, out of phase, and 3D FE modeling and analysis. When it comes to frame foundation, we have another additional parameter is top deck eccentricity. That system should be symmetric and not eccentric. Overall eccentricity of the entire system, elastic shortening of frames, natural frequencies, frequency margins, dynamic forces, in phase, out of phase, and modeling. Now here I would like to just share with you, normally our code doesn't talk about those things. We have normally a driven machine and a machine which is a drive machine and a driven machine. Dynamic force is generated in both the machines and they can be out of phase. So this philosophy also is required to be considered in the design. When we come to foundations with isolation system, we have inertia block, mass ratios, eccentricity, isolator capacity, codal provisions, what's the efficiency level, we talk about it, then strength, modeling, and dampers. So now it has total 3 phases. When we say capacity upgradation, that means first of all, the very first phase is that we should know how to select new machine. Now that is a mechanical aspect and I'm not touching this part to you here. The second part is suitability of existing foundation for the new machine. That's what I'm going to touch here right now. Okay. Third phase is satisfactory machine performance. That is of course desirable, but I'm not touching here because it needs to only testing and balancing. Again, mechanical component. So my basic interest right now is on phase 2 of the presentation here. So when we come to the current presentation here, phase 2, that means we have to assess and assure that the present foundation is suitable for housing the new machine. There are various parameters. Number 1, first is machine footprint. Now, the new bolting location of the new machine may be different. Initially, I bought from a machine from a supplier A. Now, I want to buy a machine from supplier B. The bolting arrangement may be quite different. If these are different bolting arrangement, how are we going to bolt those machines to the existing foundation? Now, that's a very, very difficult task. Second part is it's a frame size, the structural steel frame, or which is you can call skid, where the machine is supported. Then comes foundation strength parameters, whether the foundation, remaining strength of the foundation is good enough to hold the dynamic loads and static loads of the new machine. Then foundation dynamic parameters. All this required to be done. Then on top of it, we need to know geotechnical parameters. Now, the earlier machine, let's say it was having a X RPM. Now the machine is having Y RPM. Now, if it is Y RPM and X RPM, geotechnical parameter being the same, foundation mass ratio initially became the same, right? How do we manage the response of the machine? So we have option 1. The very option 1 is the new machine frame size is same as that existing machine. That means now I have no issue on the bolting. I have asked the supplier, new designer, to give me machine bolt locations same as the existing one. It has happened and many industries are doing it right now. That means they can talk to supplier, look, my present bolting arrangement is so much, you also give me same machine with the higher capacity so that I can bolt these machines on the existing foundation. So in this case, option 1, it is only frame size is same. We only do the modeling of the dynamic analysis, suitable, feasible foundation modification till acceptance of available, and then check for strength capability. When it comes to the strength, the option 2 part of it, it's a new machine frame size is different than the existing machine. Then we need to provide an interface skid. Now that skid it has 2 functions now. Number 1, the top hole of the skid, it's a I-section frame, steel frame. Top hole will match with the new machine bolt holes, and bottom of the flange will match with the existing bolt holes of the existing foundation. In this process, we install the new machine on the existing foundation. But here, there's one more dynamic parameter system comes in, is a skid. If the skid starts vibrating, then the entire system will be subject to the high vibration levels. How to size the skid, how to plan for it, then dynamic compatible skid, Then, of course, FE modeling with total field suitability and strength capability. All together is a parameter. So, in nutshell, there are 6 steps which are required whenever we want to put a new machine on the existing foundation. One is step 1, check structural integrity of the foundation, because the foundation is about 10 to 15 years old. Step 2 is, what are the vibration characteristics of the foundation that need to be checked. 1 minute. Yes. Foundation characteristics of the foundation that we have to evaluate. Third is frequency separation between interface kit and the machine operating frequency, new parameters. Then foundation eccentricity. That is important to see that how do we manage foundation eccentricity. Then dynamic response with new machine, because all these initial step 1 to 4, they influence dynamic response. So having done those tasks, then evaluate dynamic response with what are the modeling techniques we have today. And ultimately, if dynamic response is okay, then go for strength adequacy check that it should be strong physically meant to sustain the machinery. Now, these are the 6 steps, be it a frame foundation, be it a block foundation, be it any foundation. We have to check. So we have to go step by step on these issues. Now, when we say suitability of existing foundation, the first is foundation strength parameters. This we call it structural health assessment. We must establish by testing. So the advantage of biopresentation today is that everything what we do analytically, it has to be cross-checked by testing. And there must be one correspondence between the two. It is not only theoretical exercise, it is a practical exercise. And the difference between a machine foundation and any project in earthquake engineering is, in earthquake engineering, we conduct a project, we design, but then for dynamic forces, but then dynamic forces will be seen only when earthquake occurs. In the case of machine foundation, the day we put machine on the foundation, the dynamic forces start coming into the foundation from the day 1 and it starts performing. So we get to know the dynamics of the entire system right from day 1. So when we say NDT, we conduct rebound hammer test, we conduct ultrasonic pulse velocity test, and then ferroscanning test about the corrosion in the reinforcement, because this is 10-15 years old. From here, we get concrete quality, we get elastic modulus of concrete, and we come to know about honeycombing. Honeycombing can be repaired, concrete quality cannot be tested, but elastic modulus, whatever we get, it becomes a key parameter in doing design now. So we get the design part of it. When we come to foundation structural dynamic parameters, it's called dynamic health assessment. Here, we first of all do the dynamic testing of the foundation with existing machine under operation. Now, when I do this testing, I know not only how the foundation is performing, I know all foundation parameters, dynamic parameters with the existing machine parameters. Okay? But all this testing should be done using FFT capable machine. Then we need to know geotechnical parameters. This also is found out from the vibration test only, because whenever we do vibration test and we do coast up, coast down test, the vibration has to perform and give you all natural frequencies. Now, these natural frequencies, we know very well machine parameters, existing machine, we know existing foundation parameters, but from there, we can evaluate what are the geotechnical parameters present today, so that maybe they are quite different than the old one, but this is a current scenario. Otherwise, if we do not do this task, and if we use the old parameters for the design, which were done 10-15 years back, using those parameters, if you want to do a design today, we are not sure whether the design will be really valid or not. We can validate or we do not want to validate. So now I'm just sharing with you my experience for the real life machines on the frame foundations. Okay. So first is real life machine on block foundation. Here, it was a job done for Saudi Arabia. I have done 4 or 5 jobs in 2009 and 2010 around that period. It was block foundation. This existing, the customer wanted to change existing machine with 1700 kilowatt machine with new machine is higher, because they want to increase the production capacity. So with the machine, the fan capacity also increased. The RPM is also changed. So now let's see, the block remains the same. Block remains the same. Machine parameters have changed. Soil is the old one. So the dynamic performance of this has to be seen effectively, how to manage it. This is the existing foundation. Now, I just to share with you, all those who are tuned to machine foundation technology, that it was done long time back, some maybe in 20 years, 15 years back or so. I'm referring to 2008, so 20 years back, you can say about early 90s or so. Somebody has designed the foundation with only 606 base mat. Normally, in a block foundation, we have a block of the order of 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter thick, which is a rigid body. Here, it's only a flexible body. It was a challenge, just challenge to me, that whether this 606 base mat can rest on soil, can they be considered as a block foundation by any standard? Answer is no. It cannot be considered. But still, we have a challenge to do this task. Then there was this much soil fill on the foundation itself. Then we have the foundation, and then with the machine. In this case, the customer, the owner, he talked to the company called Siemens, who was a machine supplier, that you give me machine with new machine with same bolt holes. They are provided to give the bolt holes, so that there's no issue in bolting the machine to the existing foundation. So with that philosophy, we got the details. Geotechnical report, if you see that time, it was given a parameter of Cu is equal to 273,000 kilometer per meter cube. This was used for existing design. Now I am surprised if that time we saw such a value. Can it be a realistic value at all under any condition? If you go to any soil parameter, our dynamics geotechnical investigations, can this be the realistic value? Answer is no. It doesn't appear to be. It was discussed in general. Then objective was we do integrity studies. We had done integrity studies. We had done vibration tests in the foundation with operational mode analysis, modal parameters that gave us the natural frequencies, mode shapes, and damping. And what we obtained was the extracted frequencies are much in variance with those in design report. Much in variance because of the fact that this is 273, which is not realistic value at all, altogether, even with the old machine. So how about the new machine? So entity study conducted, parameter established, foundation strength and elastic modulus, these two were checked now. So we have done vibration test conducted. Interface kit was designed by the machine supplier, so we don't really need to check it, because done by the supplier itself. Bolt hole location is the same. The frequency operation of interface kit duly taken care of by the supplier, so that step doesn't come into picture. Then, with the new machine parameters, we had to check the eccentricity of the entire system. Normally, our limits are 5%. Okay, as a designer, I keep it around maybe 1% or less than 1%, but it happens to be 3.35%, which is okay. Fine. That sounds very well. Otherwise, we could have changed. Now, how do we make a change? We take a steel block of the steel slabs, like 100 mm thick steel slabs, and we can bolt it through using the industrial bolt system onto the location wherever we want to change the mass and change the eccentricity. So that philosophy is available to us. So new skid design was done by manufacturer, bolt hole locations duly matched, no modification required and anticipated. Present value eccentricity is 3.35%. If amplitudes exceed, then retrofit the foundation. Otherwise, continue with the foundation. So with this case, it was modeled very well. And we have used the CU value as 65,000. Based on the dynamic test, instead of 276,000, we used the value of 65,000 because this happened to be coming as a frequency measurement from the dynamic test conducted on the existing machine. So we use that parameters, 65,000. You can see the huge difference between the two. And also while modeling, we have taken earth fill also because earth fill also adds as mass to the foundation. It was done, total mass, and then we had done the task. And these are some of the mode shapes I'm just sharing. And fifth and sixth mode shape, you can see, do not conform to frequency separation because the fifth and sixth mode are 14.75 and 15.5. They are not much different from the operating speed. But then our objective was that we must to see the amplitudes, dynamic amplitudes. And if we got dynamic amplitudes here, the steady state amplitudes are very, very small, around 10 microns for both the conditions, both the responses. And we found, yes, this can go with the new machine foundation can run very well. Then we checked for all the loading condition for the new machine. We have checked by FE modeling, the strength adequacy. We have the reinforcement available. We checked the maximum stress level by the order of 5 MPa for MC30 concrete, right? Which was okay. Found okay. Design adequacy. Foundation is performing for level for last about 12 years. That's an advantage that we have done the dynamic design. We have done everything, and the foundation started performing very well from day one. And it is still for the last 12 years running very well. So that gives a level of confidence to us for our design approach. Next comes on the frame foundation. Give me 1 minute. इसको side पे कैसे करना है? I don't know. See, this should come to the side.
Yeah, just उसको जैसा pull कर रहे थे वैसे ही pull करिए.
हाँ. नहीं, it should every time I have to change.
You can minimize it then.
Minimize it. Okay, good. All right. But then I will not be able to see them. How do I see it?
Yeah, small कर दीजिए फिर. नहीं, next, the one next to that.
No.
Sir,
No.
please minimize. The first button is there, minus.
Yes. Yeah.
Just press on that. It will.
Okay.
Will go down.
Okay. Thank you. Help for your help. Fine. So when it comes to the frame foundation, this job was done recently for a machine in Sri Lanka. Right? They had a 2 megawatt existing machine, and they wanted to increase 3 megawatt because the power cost is very high in Sri Lanka. It's very, very high power cost. And that's where it was a very good profitable business even to increase 1 megawatt. Even to increase 1 megawatt. Okay. So they have gone like this. The job came to us. It's a real life machine. You can imagine this new machine 2 megawatt set. And it's a RCC foundation. And the foundation size, the columns only 500. That means by no standard, this foundation can be called a machine foundation, frame foundation. By no standard, it can be called. Okay. 1 second, I think. Okay, fine. Now, so this is a new machine, an old machine. Beside the new machine, you can see the huge difference between the two, the size itself. And the objective was when we had to put the new machine onto the existing foundation, you can see here in operation, the new machine is now extending as a cantilever beyond the TG foundation by about 1100 millimeter. You see, this is a new skid now. The objective was, since the machine bolt locations are different than the present bolt location, I designed this new skid. This is a new skid, designed by me to hold the new machine onto a skid, upper flange bolt to matching to the new machine, lower flange bolt matching to the old foundation, and put the machine installation. And very clarity was that there is a condenser. So we need to have a condenser pipe from the turbine side, which is going down below, and then you go to condenser. So this location is also fixed. That means I cannot change the location. We're keeping this in mind. The machine has to be taken out by 1184 mm. Okay. With this condition, we designed the foundation. So we did, first of all, as a schedule, step 1, structural integrity. We have to do the NDT testing. From NDT testing, we got we have a rebound hammer test, ultrasonic pulse velocity test, and we got dynamic elastic modulus of 37,600 MPa, which we use in our design. Then comes to the dynamic testing of the foundation with the existing machine. We use the device, this is available with me, fluid vibration analyzer, using this foundation. Now what happens whenever we take the vibration measurements on the foundation, now these devices, they have a magnetic probe. Now the magnetic probe to fix on the foundation, there's a style that we have used the steel washers on the foundation. You map the foundation at different locations, 30, 40 locations, by erudite those washers, so that the probe can be fitted to attached to the washers, and then we get the responses. So we have taken vibration measurements on the machine, skid, and the foundation. Now this was a skid design, new skid design, and very so that machine can be bolted onto this one, and the bolt holes of the lower part are matching with the foundation bolts here, all foundation bolts. So This was the mode shapes of this one, and we were to make sure it took about 7 to 8 cycle iterations for designing this foundation, so that none of the parameters of this skid, they should clash with the operating speed of the machine. Okay, it's not a simple task. It has taken a lot of time. And then also the stresses of the skid should be well within the capacity. So after that, we finalized the skid with the skid, and then the next job was to control eccentricity. So we could get the eccentricity control up to 1.63%, which is very high, very good, less than 2%. So with the new machine, with the new turbine, new generator, new skid, and the existing foundation, right? We have done dynamic analysis, this job, FE modeling, and we got to the mode shapes and the total response, natural frequencies, and the ultimate response. You can see here, it has the machine with 2 speeds now, 25 hertz of the generator speed, and turbine speed is around 139 hertz. In both the cases, the vibration levels are below 10 microns. Here, it is around 2-3 microns. This was the transient response. Okay, done from this part. And we could locate get it. And then strength adequacy was done with for the loads of the new machine, and found out the stresses. Existing reinforcement was found to be okay. And this machine is running for the last 2 years very well, giving the good performance at Sri Lanka. This is done. Then coming now to real life machines, foundation with BIS. Now this was a machine again in somewhere in Uttar Pradesh. Okay. Now here this was a fan impedance. This is a fan, motor fan unit on existing block foundation. At that time, I think there's maybe some 30 years back, the whosoever was a consultant to the plant, he has considered thick base mat of 1000 mm thick for the entire plant, maybe some 30 meter by 40 meter, the base mat. And from there, all machine foundation, all structural foundation, column foundation, everything was taken out from that mat itself. Okay, that's the job done. When it came to change it, we said, yes, if the new machine parameters are there, how can we do on the same block foundation? And how do I take into account what are the geotechnical parameters contributing to this kind of foundation? It was not possible to manage that part. Objective was to put a new foundation. For the new foundation, we have to cut the base mat, which customer was never agreed to, not at all. That we can't cut the base mat and go down to the zero ground level. Then objective was 3 options. Option 1, use the existing foundation for new machine, not ruled out. Option 2, construct the new foundation at the same location. Not acceptable to customer as it required breaking the common base. Option 3, design a new foundation supported on BIS. This option was acceptable, finally. So you can see here now that here there's only 100 mm gap left, and we have to extend the cantilever outside to make it a floating foundation. Beyond the machine parameters, we extended beyond that level and put the isolators on the base mat here, raise the wall, put the isolators, and support the entire machine motor coupling and all it onto isolators device. Inadequate space below foundation to place isolator at the machine center line height is fixed. We can't change the machine. If I go up here, if I want to put the isolators below here, the machine center line height will go up. And that was not acceptable to plant altogether. So we have to keep the machine center line height same as this existing machine center line. So we have to only extend cantilevers to put in the floating foundation.
Excuse me, sir. We have 5 minutes to.
Yes, I'll conclude 5. Sure.
Sir, sorry. Shall I come in here? Sorry, yes. Sorry to interrupt. Sir, Chairman, sir. The next speaker is due to emergency, medical emergency. Is not make it possible. So whole time is available. I think now let us, Dr. Bhatia can give us continued lecture. It will be very much useful to all the delegates and everybody.
Definitely, sir. I too endorse and request humbly to Dr. Bhatia to excuse me and please continue your lecture in detail, sir, till 10:30. We will be blessed.
Okay, fine.
Good. We will have certain questions and answers also, sir.
Sure. Most welcome.
Very interesting. Please continue, sir. Please.
Yeah. Okay. So, what are the design constraints? In this case was the inadequate space below the foundation to place isolator, because machine center line height is fixed. Second was suspended foundation is needed because we cannot put the isolators below. So we had to extend the foundation outside, beyond the domain of the existing foundation. Foundation top to be extended sideways to accommodate VIS. Then presence of existing building columns pose a hindrance. That I'll share with you. So when I had to go to the extending foundation, then I found that at some location, because I was not at site, I am only given the details at site only, from site. So, okay, I extended it and then done the job. It has taken many cycles. Now, I'll just go step by step now. So, we have done, first of all, step one, structural integrity. It's a new foundation, so there's no question of structural integrity checking of the existing foundation. That means we have to make the foundation structurally integral of the new foundation. 1 minute, sir.
Please.
Then second part is to check vibration characteristics of the existing foundation. That's also not there because it's a new foundation. Third, frequency separation criteria, that is of the skid. Skid is not there because it's again new foundation. So step 1, 2, and 3 are not required for new foundation. So we had to skip those steps. Then it came to machine and foundation parameters. See, machine, the motor weighs 4 ton and fan 6 ton. I'm just now going into a bit detail because time is available now with me. Machine speed is 1500 RPM. Total critical speed is 2100 RPM. And number of impeller blades are 12. So now please understand those from the audience I'm sharing that whenever we have, in case of pumps and the fans, the number of blades multiplied by the speed becomes 18,000 here, 18,000. And that is also the speed which we have to cross-check that no natural frequency foundation should be close to 18,000. Otherwise, blade will start getting excited. So foundation mass is 4 to 5 times. Foundation block is sized to accommodate the machine. Building column and isolators. Foundation plan is this much now. Initial foundation plan was too small, but this is increased now. So with this foundation plan, you can see here now, I'll now hit this location, I'll share with you. So initially, when I was given the task to extend the foundation, I extended all together like a block here. And I have designed the foundation. Then I came to know, when it went to the site for checking and all that, they told me, sir, I'm getting building column here at this location, steel column, because as I said, initial architect or designer, he has made a 1,000 thick slab for the entire plant. This slab is about 40 meter by 50 meter size. So all building columns, all machine foundation were taken out from this slab itself. So I was told that there's a building column coming in. All right. So I cut my foundation here and change my location of the isolator in such a way that still my eccentricity is nearly 0. I have done the design with that location and managed it. Then second level of checking, it came, sir, there's one more column here at this location. Okay, what do I do in this location? All right, again change the entire thing and again cut the foundation. You can see here, foundation part cut into pieces, small pieces. And then with the isolators coming into picture. And use the isolator location in such a way that we are able to manage it very well with the eccentricity part. And when I have done that task, finally, I was told, sir, this slab cannot be extended on this side. I also planned isolators here at this location because there's some other machinery is coming to attach to this location. We cannot do that. That foundation is coming. So I had to remove that foundation here. Let this be suspended part here at this location. So this is the flexibility available to the designer in a case of isolation. We managed it very well. And this is the total, of course, modeling part of it. We have done the modeling. We have done the FE mesh of that and analyzed it. And the frequencies we got was about 6 Hertz and 6 Hertz and 7. These are the first 3 frequencies. Then came other frequencies. Anyway, the forces along transverse direction we applied. You can see here dynamic forces all along in phase forces. All of them are all in one phase. Here, all of them in vertical phase here. And then we find that amplitude levels are much smaller at the operating speed, much smaller. Sorry, I'll go back here. And I also have not presented because of the number of pages restriction that then we take it, the dynamic forces machine motor is on, fan is on the other side, motor is on one side. So they cause rocking motion, torsional motion to the whole foundation. Similarly, while doing vertical part here, vertical forces here are vertical up here, and for the fan they are down here, they got rocking motion. That means we really excite all possible modes of the foundation and then try to check the responses, because that's a physical system. We cannot guarantee as a machine manufacturer, a person who is erecting the machine, that all dynamic forces will be in phase. So we have to take all the forces again in phase, out of phase. So coming to strength adequacy check of new foundation, it was done using the normal routine testing part, and then existing reinforcement is more than equivalent for the base trap that was done, but the foundation was designed new altogether. So now, friends, we come across a very important conclusions from the entire study. See, all of you would agree that this is the need of the day world over. Today, every industry wants to do capacity upgradation. And if you want to do totally a new machine, new location, then you have to spend a lot of time. And this technology tells you how to use existing machine at existing location, using existing infrastructure, and still do manage the foundation response well within a limit. Capacity upgradation of machines can well be done by installing new machines on existing foundations with required modifications. Tremendous saving, both in terms of cost and time, because we use the same foundation, we use the same infrastructure. If we have to cast a new foundation, that means we need about 1 year time very clearly gone for frame foundation, easily gone. And maybe a few months, 6 months of time gone for block foundation. Here, you can use the same thing and you start producing new or higher output right from day one. Capacity upgradation, feasibility for all rotary machines for block foundations, frame foundation, isolation system is already possible. The concept can bring industrial growth at a much faster rate. Caution. My caution is all such field applications of capacity upgradation or revamping should not be taken for granted till design is fully verified by field tests and dynamic computations. Now, my dear friends, I am sharing with you. I am right now at the age of 80 years, close to 80 years. I am doing the testing in the field. For the last about 40 years, I have done this testing. But in general, if you see the industry today, there's hardly anybody who goes to testing. All foundation designers, the task is design and forget about it. They are not concerned with how the machine is behaving. If complaint comes, then the owner will go to somebody else who will troubleshoot. Here in this case, I'm the designer, I'm the troubleshooter, I do the vibration testing for all. And I am sharing with you the entire experience based on my testing field experience. Recommendations: such a system approach for capacity upgradation can lead to a change in industrial growth scenario globally. Field performance test is a must for each complete job. Plenty of publications available on vibration data for machine performance, but hardly any data available on real-life machine foundation, including structural and geotechnical aspects. It is not available. Suggest more test-based publications on vibration response of real-life machine foundation, including geotechnical aspects. I am doing it for the last about 10-15 years, these publications based on my test on. Thank you very much, friends. Thanks a lot.
Perfect. So thank you so much, sir, for your excellent, I should say outstanding presentation. It is a clear-cut demonstration of knowledge generation over the past several decades rather to knowledge applications in the real life in industry. So really, sir, we are blessed with your excellent presentation. And now, sir, I request you to please make yourself available for answering the queries.
Sure.
So I request the audience to please write their questions on a chat box. I will read it and I will act as an interface between the audience and our eminent speaker, Professor Bhatia. Sir, I'm really thankful from Seven Ikraji organizers and from my personal behalf for your wonderful presentation. So meanwhile, audience write their questions on a chat box. I request you to please highlight something on how to control the vibrations because of machine foundations which are happening and disturbing the nearby infrastructure, whether it is a building or adjoining machine foundations. So if you can just throw a light, what could be the alternative measures which can, and in which case it can be, in which case we can select appropriate technique approach to control such vibrations. So that will be great of you, sir. So meanwhile, I'll look for the question answers from audience. So audience are requested to please write their queries, questions on a chat box, please.
As of now, there are no Q&A in chat box.
Yes, please, Professor Vijayendra, please.
Sir, it was indeed a very nice presentation. But I am Vijayendra from Bangalore Institute of Technology. Sir, really, the first-hand information on actual installation of the machine foundation, and, designing, and so many issues. Really, I was surprised, like cutting up the foundation, still maintaining the zero eccentricity. To be honest, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. So many taken out the main part of the foundation, still you are able to maintain the zero eccentricity. Still, I am really surprised. But one thing, coming to your frequency response curve, I saw two peaks in the vertical response, vertical response. What would be that? The fundamental mode appears to be 8 Hz and 6 Hz close vibration frequency. What is that mode actually? Is it any secondary or superficial mode?
Sure, shall I share my
low amplification. It appears to be low amplification, though that your frequency response, I think, last
one. No, which foundation talking about? There are 3 foundations.
Last but 2 slides, you had a frequency response curve. Last but 2 slides.
Here? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes. You see, now what happens now? These foundations are rigid body foundations. The concrete is rigid body. Okay. So that means when I'm giving you the the response run here, right? I get the transverse amplitude, vertical amplitude. I have plotted all of them in single slide. Otherwise, they should have been different slides altogether. 3 different slides altogether. I have just put them together to one location. Now, when it comes to transverse amplitude, when you see here, when I do a transient response, transient means I am doing starting from 0 Hz to the operating speed and 20% more than that operating speed. So it has to get a first of all frequency in the range about, you can see 6 Hz, which you can see here as a frequency here, around 6 Hz. Okay, transverse frequency. You can get the frequency here. Okay. So this is one. Similarly, when it comes to the vertical amplitude, in the vertical amplitude, we are getting frequency around 8 to 9 Hz. This part. That again we can get, because I have not shown you the further 3 modes. I can go back to my slides and show that comes to same value. So we will get those values. But our response, what we have to evaluate, is only at operating speed. Only operating speed. And operating speed is quite, you can see here now. Just a minute, I'll just show it to you here. 1500 RPM. That means basically my operating speed is only at 25 Hz. So my steady state response will be only at 25 Hz, which I can see here somewhere at this location. At this location, you can see here, because the basic philosophy of isolation is that I must have a frequency ratio more than 3 to 4. Below 3 to 4, it's not feasible to do isolation. So if operating speed is 25 Hz, then my natural frequency has to be much lower than that. It is something ratio of 4. So if you say 25 by 4, 25 by 5 Hz, and I have planned something like 6 Hz. So it was designed like that only. So that my dynamic amplitudes are always in this range, at 25 Hz, much lower. Am I clear?
I was in doubt. The vertical frequency response.
Yes.
The vertical vertical
frequency response also. It has we have to see only at 25 Hz. Because machine. Yes.
Sir, one small peak is there coinciding with the natural frequency, first vibration frequency.
No, this peak you're talking about?
Yeah, small peak.
Yes, no. Small peak axial. This axial one.
Okay.
This axial one. The axial does not touch at all because we do not generate axial forces. Axial forces come out only out of thrust only. No rotary machine will generate axial forces out of the plane perpendicular to the line perpendicular to the axis, along axis. No machine. Only they will generate vertical forces in vertical or transverse directions. So axial forces are not generated at all. They only come because the fan gives you thrust, and the thrust itself gives you axial vibrations, axial thrust, because we have thrust bearing. Yes. Any other question?
Sir, my second question.
Yes.
While adapting the finite element model after the installation, how the soil was modeled and the interface between the block foundation and the soil was modeled?
There's no soil at all. You see, please, in this case, sorry, one second. Again, let me come back to how do I come to sharing part of it here? I forgot.
Again, you go to share screen, and then you can go
share
to that button
and share.
Yeah, green button at the bottom.
Green button at the bottom. No, I got it, but anyway, let me just see.
Now,
are you able to see my screen now?
Yeah.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, yes. Now ask your question, please.
That is how the finite element model, while doing the finite element model, how the interface between the soil and the foundation was taken care of.
Oh, please see this slide now. I got your point. See, there's no soil construction now because this is a 1000 mm thick slab, 40 meter by 50 meter size for the entire plant.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I have not touched this part at all. This is initially existing. So now what happens now? I have only created walls, some walls here, top of it, so that I get this height available to the height of isolator. It's about 300 millimeter. Okay. So the lower part does not come into picture at all, because what happens now, the natural frequency of the isolator system is about 1/5 of the operating speed. That means I could manage only at about 300 RPM. So soil will never intervene. In such a case, soil will not come into picture at all. For any isolation system, we have inertia. So this is inertia block. Inertia block rests on the isolator. Isolator rests on the base block. So base block dynamic parameters do not come into picture at all. Entire dynamics is controlled by the isolator parameters.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Bye. And again, how do I come back to the
Again, sir, stop presentation.
Stop share.
Stop sharing.
Okay, fine. Sorry. Please forgive me for this.
No, sir. We are thankful to you at this point of time. Also, sir, you have made yourself updated with new ITs. Really, we are grateful to you. So still, I'm waiting audience questions, answers. There are no questions by now. I request Professor Govindaraju or Professor Pavan to raise some issues, if at all. In meanwhile, I'll take a liberty, sir. If you can just highlight alternative measures to control the vibrations which is happening because of this machine foundations, and how to control it, the nearby infrastructure.
You see, I'll just share my experience with you.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I am into troubleshooting the machine vibration problem, both on machine side. I am into machine side. In fact, if you want to go in detail, please go to my website, dcattechnologies.com. dcattechnologies.com. So it gives you all details. Now, I am into this field for last about, I think, 30-40 years. And objective is to do troubleshooting at site, take measurement, and then arrive at where to do the correction. Now, there are two types of issues involved in concerning to vibration problem. One is the problem of the machine itself. We touch the machine part of it. Okay. Second is we test the foundation part. The third is when the vibrations start moving out of the building, out of industrial complex, and harming adjoining buildings, then how to manage it. So all the three issues have been done. For example, I am talking about in Bangalore. I was there. I have done for a hammer foundation in Bangalore. Okay, it was done by some automotive industry, and they had the forge hammer, and then in the forge hammer they're making automotive parts. The hammer, by hammering process, forge hammer process, the residences which are about at maybe 500 meter or 800 meter away from the industry, they have started complaining about the vibrations. At every press of the forge hammer, they get vibrations. Their floors start shaking. This was in Bangalore. So I was involved in. I have designed the foundation in such a fashion that the vibration levels beyond their boundary limit are, because of vibration levels, we have to work out how do they reduce. Beyond the boundary limit, they come to a very, very minimal level. Now, unfortunate part today is that throughout not only India, throughout the globe, there is no standard which gives you what are the permissible level of vibrations on the building structures due to vibrations generated by industry, generated by trains, generated by metros, or generated by road transport. There's no code throughout the world, through the globe. Because in BIS, I am a member of the Mechanical Shock Vibration Committee, developing code. I'm writing a code on this part also right now with BIS. What are the permissible levels of vibration for the buildings? But there's no code. The codes, the 2637 and the number of codes, 71, number of codes are there. They tell you how to take measurement. But there's no code tells you what should be vibration value. Okay. The only Indian standard code, one value was given long time back, somewhere in 1984, that the velocity of the vibration at any building close by should not exceed more than 3 mm per second velocity. So right now, that is a yardstick with us, and we control that part. Any other questions, please?
Yeah, sir. Sir, I'm Govind Raju.
Yes, Govind.
I'm blessed today to hear you because I'm also teaching soil dynamics and machine foundation in my university. But really, I'm blessed to hear your lecture today. It's amazing. Sir, I have a few questions to you. So you said I am not touching any foundation part. Only the foundation that is above the soil, you are making some alterations in the sense.
True.
See that the centroid is almost maintained so that there will not be excessive unbalanced force. Other way, is it possible? Suppose nowadays many ground improvement techniques have come up, so that I can use the same existing platform, the foundation over the soil site like now by adopting some skirted piles, or I can drill hole and then strengthen the soil, and I can then study or improve the dynamic properties of the soil and then cross-check whether these values are sufficient or not for the better performance of the machine.
Yes. This is, you see, first of all, when we do vibration testing, see, we say, let's take, for example, the magic figure, all right, so-and-so machine is giving a high vibration in an industry. Let's take that first step. Now, we have to go to root cause of it. Whether the problem is of the machine, a problem is due to foundation, a problem is due to soil. If it is due to soil, then there's a purpose of saying, yes, we can do ground improvement. If the soil is not culprit at all, then why to take ground improvement? There's no need. There's no need. So the question is, we must find the culprit. Who's the culprit? If the culprit is vibration machine, then we test the machine part of it. Now what happens? Our design methodology. See, I think I'll share with you this IS 2974, which is a code for machine foundation, right? Which is there. All the codes are about 25 years old. All of them under revision, and I am the chairman of that entire committee. And all the codes have been revised now. They are under wide circulation and printing. Okay, all of them revised. So the technology was about all 84. That means we're talking about 30, 40 years old technology with which even today designs are being done. the knowledge base is not fully much incorporated in the codes. For example, I say, if suppose there's a router, machine A, machine B, they are coupling together. One is a drive machine and the driven machine. If this is giving one up and down, you're going to get a rocking motion. How will you generate unless you take theoretically rocking motion? You cannot design. Similarly, in torsional motion, right? That we do not do. So now the situation is today when we have written the new codes now, which perhaps BIS has already given wide circulation. It might go for printing maybe in the 6-8 months time. Now you will find all possible details which are there in the code today, which will give you a very well-designed foundation. So issue is we have to touch whether if it's a problem with the somebody's leg, I can't treat the heart, right? If it's the heart, then I can't treat the leg. So I must identify the problem. And fortunately for me, I spent about, I think, 40 years only to do testing. BHEL gave me a very good, I was in BHEL, gave me free hand. Whatever foundation you do it and don't go and test. So the entire book which I have written is about, I think, 1,000 pages book right now. Okay. I have put all my experience of designing and testing put together in the military. Then where we are wrong. How to cut that part. That's all I could do. Thank you.
Sir, one more small question. So as you mentioned in
sir,
Bangalore,
which college you are from in the Bangalore?
Sir, I am in University Visvesvaraya College of Engineering, Bangalore University.
Okay.
I am a student of Professor T.G. Sitharam.
Okay. Right. No, because I had given, I don't know, a couple of lectures in Bangalore Engineering College. I forgot the name, where there was one gentleman of my own old colleague from Roorkee. He was there.
Baswannah.
Yeah, same.
Baswannah, yes, sir.
Yeah, Baswannah, that's right.
Yeah, Baswannah is no more.
Same college?
Yeah, same college.
So I gave a lecture.
I am recent introduction there. So
that's okay. I gave a lecture there somewhere. I think some 3, 4, 5 years back or so. I gave a lecture.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah,
so definitely, certainly I will be in touch with you, sir, if you happen to come here, or I would.
No, I have got house in Bangalore. No, I am Bangalorean. I've got house in Bangalore also. I'm in Delhi and Bangalore both. मेरे बच्चे वहाँ Bangalore में. मेरे बच्चे Bangalore में.
Oh, so more frequently coming to Bangalore.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
So then,
leaving Corona aside, after the Corona part, I'm not going to anywhere. But yes, we do. We are stationed in Bangalore very much.
So definitely, sir, I will come and meet you and invite you so that we have a MTech in earthquake engineering discipline after Roorkee only.
Yes. Oh, okay, yes. Good, very fine.
Sir, one more small clarification for me. As you mentioned in Bangalore for particularly for Jammer, you conducted some tests and to evaluate the vibration assessment for buildings. I think the one we already generated what is called peak particle velocity. We also do some tests. So that peak particle velocity is, as you mentioned, no code is specifying what value, but there some conventional things are Haddock value. They are mentioning between 3 millimeter per second to 5 millimeter per second. The same thing holds good for every vibrations.
No. 5 millimeter is a very harmful mass. A very harmful. No. It is. You can go below 3. 3 is also high, in my opinion. See, the issues are. I'll tell you. One. Let me just complete. The issues are safety of system and discomfort to the human being. So now, discomfort to human being, 3 millimeters is a very high number. Safety of structure, 3 millimeters is no number at all. You can go to 5 and 10 also. No issue.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you want to know ultimately? You see, if I'm living in a floor and I start getting disturbed, that I can get disturbed even at 1.5 millimeters. But if my roof will collapse or not, my floor will collapse or not, then even 5 millimeters is okay. I must know the problem first. Vijendra, yeah.
Sir, yes. Yeah, PPV is mentioned for some of the sensitive instruments in the code. Not exclusively by that, but last, I think 2 years back, we had one workshop at IISc to exclusively arrive at these values of PPVs for pile driving and other activities which may cause the problem to the structure. I think that code is in the process, but not yet open as a draft. But it was suggested in the IISc workshop. Professor An was in charge, and I was also one of the team member in that. I think shortly BIS will come out with the vibration limit, particularly in terms of PPV for various activities.
So what is PPV stand full form? PPV?
Peak particle velocity.
Particle velocity.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not knowledgeable about it. This is not my subject either. Not knowledgeable about it.
Sensitive instruments, the manufacturer will prescribe, and some of the sensitive erections and fabrications like radar and transmission tower, they have mentioned the PPVs, but not for the general purpose like boreholes, drilling, piling operations, all this. Now they are causing problem because hectic operations are going on. There are complaints have been placed by the residents. So they are taking, particularly after Metro. Metro have got their measurement. I think Govind Raju must be aware of it.
No, you see, one thing I'll tell you, I'll share with you, my dear friend, that today there's, I said, no code globally available which gives you what are the vibration levels which are not beyond permissible limit. That means what is the threshold limit of vibration in any building structure? It's not there at all. I have done recently some structure. This is beyond of this topic right now. I have done in Delhi a couple of buildings for where I have done vibration measurement. They are coming just above the metro. The buildings are just above the metro line. I have done this kind of testing, and I find the vibration velocities are much lower level, much lower. Yes.
Okay. Students,
Professor Vijay.
Hello.
Yes, Professor Vijendra, if any questions is there in the chat, in the question answer section, I could see one of the question raised by Professor B.K. Maheshwari of IIT Roorkee. If B.K. Maheshwari, Professor Maheshwari can ask the question, or otherwise I can read his question. Idea is to just change natural frequency of the system. Is it correct?
Which system? Machine foundation system?
Machine foundation system.
Yeah, you see, we have to get the natural frequency so that there is no amplification. That's all. That's the object.
Yes. So this is, if any question is there, otherwise I have again one more question, sir. Not a question, because basically we need your suggestions, blessings for the future. So, sir, what could be the way forward or roadmap for academia, industry, so that they can do more intensive research, R&D, and bring out certain guidelines, codal provisions, like I just now mentioned that there is no code at all globally on vibration levels on different infrastructures. So if you can throw some light, that could be put as a recommendations from this particular conference.
You see, there is a committee called in BIS called MED 28, Mechanical Engineering Division 28. Okay, like our CED 39, we have earthquake. Okay, and you have some other CED for geotechnical parameters. So we have MED 28. It's on mechanical shock and vibration. It is that committee which is responsible for writing codes for all vibration limits to any system, whether they are mechanical or they are structural. Okay, and I happen to be a member of that code committee right now. I am on their code committee, and the chairman happens to be right now with BHL R&D. And already I have taken a task to write. I have circulated my documents, which I have taken measurements without the name of the customer, without the name of the client. Okay, I have circulated documents. What all I have done the measurements at site. I have done for various hammer parameters, like at Bangalore I have done, at Ghaziabad I have done for a building which is just above the metro located. All vibration parameters I have done. Okay. So the code writing part is a bit difficult task. That will take its own time. But then you can check up with the MED 28 at BIS. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Professor Pavan, if any question is there from your side?
Yeah, one small question, sir, from my side.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, Bhatia sir, you were mentioning about upgradation of foundations when there is an increase in the load capacity, say due to new machines.
So one thing. I am not upgrading foundation. I am only saying upgradation of machine. Okay.
Yeah, machine.
And using same foundation. Yes.
The same foundation, upgradation of the load due to the machine.
Yes.
But sometimes we get problems like health monitoring of the foundation, not due to increase in the load due to the machine, but the same machine. But so how do you suggest we address such problems? Like
yes, now that's a good question. Very good question, yes. Now I'll share with you. If you take as per say, first of all, I'm talking about Indian scenario. Okay, then we take globally, right? Machine foundation, our safety factor in the machine safety factor is of the order of 24. Understand that? Okay. 24 is a inbuilt by default. You don't design for it. Because once you see, if you go to a let's say frame foundation and you need a column of 1.5 meter by 2 meter column size, do you really need it? No, you don't need. You need only 500 columns. But we are putting it. So by certain norms that we need to have certain mass ratio between machine and foundation, we have used foundation strength parameters are very high. Now I'll share with you one part, please. Those of you who are familiar with have you heard the name of Aligarh? Aligarh, yes. Now I am sharing with you. In Aligarh, there was a power plant. It was a 62 megawatt power. A 60 megawatt power plant, somewhere I am telling you in early 60s. Now, what happened in those days with the old technology, there used to be mechanical governor that was used for controlling speed of the foundation, speed of the machine.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that governor failed. It did not function. It's a real happening in India. Think about it.
Okay.
What happens? The turbine speed went to 3000, 3200. 3500, normally at 35, governor should trip automatically. It has not done. It has stopped functioning. Turbine speed went down 3500, 4000, 4500, 5000, 6000, and centrifugal force becomes so large that turbine rotor and generator rotor, they blew off, breaking the casing. Blew off.
Okay.
It happened in India. Blew off. And you can see, imagine now the tremendous force with which the rotor can blow off the casing and blew off the entire ceiling of the building and fell some 300, 400 meters away. But nothing happened to the foundation. Please understand the point. It is in the part of this country itself. So what do we conclude from here? That the safety factor in our foundations are so large, inbuilt, because our interest is not safety. Our interest is performance. If I do not perform well for one day, my total loss today is about 2 crores per day in 1000 megawatt power plant. 2 crores per day. Okay. And how much I save in making the safety? Maybe some 10 lakhs, 5 lakhs. So safety is never a criteria for machine foundation design. Only performance. Only performance. Right? And also true, as Govindraju asked very clearly, that soil parameters are fixed now for you. It's a fixed parameter. Soil parameters are fixed. Okay. And machine parameters are fixed now. Foundation you already designed. How do you want to control? The control is only exercised by reducing the frequency separation value. That's all. I mean, there are increasing frequency margins. That's all. And that you can do. I can take, for example, let's say block foundation. I can take a slab of 3 meter by 4 meter into 300 millimeter, 100 millimeter thick steel density, and through bolting at one side. And I can control the mass ratio. I can control the frequencies. Very well. Okay. So it's an art. It's not only science. It's an art. And I am into this for the last about 30, 40 years. I have spent my entire career into the whole business. Thank you.
Yeah. I think there are no questions. So I request Professor Pavan to conclude the session, please.
Yeah, sure, sir. Yeah. I think it was a very enriching experience for all of us for the last 1 hour. It is our immense fortune that we could have with us Dr. Krishna Bhatia, who has about 4 decades of experience in this domain of design of foundations, vibration and testing. And he was gracious enough, and we are all very fortunate to listen to this lecture where he shared all his rich history and experience, and all of them are practical problems, because in the textbooks and in literature we get to read just sample problems, but we never get to see the real life test data and real life situations which is happening in our factories and our plants. And he was gracious enough to share all this information to us and highlight about the practical problems. Thank you very much, sir, Krishna sir, for sharing your time with us and delivering this wonderful presentation. Please accept our heartfelt from the organizers of this conference and from all the panel members too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, with permission from the organizers, I take permission to close this particular session. Thank you so much for joining all the audience. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now I will take over the floor. In fact, it is a very, very exciting session and highly useful session, not only for the participants here, even the audience or the delegates who are not joining directly. And no doubt they will appreciate the kind of experience Dr. Bhatia has got and his immense service to the society in the field of industrial machines and upgrading of existing foundations. On behalf of the organizing committee, on myself behalf, I thank the chair of the today's session, Dr. Ajay Chaurasia, to make it possible, in spite of his busy schedule, to accept our invitation to happen this program on time and a very fruitful manner. Sir, I thank you very much for your presence in this technical session, sir. I also take this opportunity to thank our co-chair, Dr. Pavan GS, to sparing his valuable time and accepting our invitation to co-chair this technical session and giving the concluding remarks. Dr. Pavan, I once again thank you on behalf of the organizing committee as well on my behalf. And it is my pleasure and feel honored to thank our state-of-art practice lecture delivered by Dr. K.G. Bhatia continuously for 1.5 hours. At this age, really, these are all stalwarts in the field of soil dynamics and earthquake engineering, and definitely the country, not only the country, even across the globe, people or the professionals should appreciate your talk and your rich experience and capabilities of problem solving in the field and in a very fruitful manner. And I'm extremely happy that he is involved in writing a separate code book for particularly machine foundations, vibrations. So we are eager to see, and no doubt, not only the country, even across the globe, people are waiting for your code book to be followed based on your recommendations. So on behalf of the organizing committee and on my personal behalf, I thank profusely Dr. K.G. Bhatia for delivering a wonderful talk on this occasion. So thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Govindaraja, sir.
Thank you, sir. So now I will close the session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pavan,
for sharing, for conducting this session wonderfully. Thank you, organizers. Thank you, Dr. Govindaraju, for wonderfully organizing the show. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ajay, sir.
Thank you.